isn't just what you achieve. It's what you inspire others to achieve. Today, we have the privilege of launching something truly special. It's a new award for our state-based network and the broader freedom movement. It is the inaugural Chip Mellor Prize for Excellence in Public Interest Litigation. The prize honors the legacy of an inspiring man of vision who we lost this last year. Chip Mellor was a leader of leaders, a mentor, and a friend to so many. I am grateful for the time and advice he generously has given me over the years, especially as this network rapidly grew and added state-based litigation. The award recognizes the growing use of litigation and its importance in our state-based strategies. Our litigation partners are valuable allies in these strategies, and they are an essential part of the durable freedom infrastructure in the states. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today, State Policy Network and the Institute for Justice announce our partnership in this, the inaugural Mellor Prize.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Scott Bullock. I'm President and Chief Counsel of the Institute for Justice. Along with co-founders Chip Mellor and Clint Bullock, I was at IJ when we opened our doors way back in 1991. Chip took a chance on a then 24-year-old kid like me, fresh out of law school, and someone who had a burning desire to do freedom-oriented public interest law. And like so many in this room and throughout the land, as Tracy mentioned, Chip became an incredible friend and mentor. I had the honor of taking over for Chip as IJ's second president in 2016. A quote I read one time from the great jazz musician John Coltrane always struck me as something that could have come out of the mouth of Chip and how he approached life. Train said, "Invest yourself in everything you do. There's fun in being serious." Chip wanted everyone fighting for individual freedom to have the highest standards and to invest fully in everything we do. But Chip was also one who loved to have fun while doing this vital work, as anyone who had ever heard Chip's knee-slapping laugh can attest. So before I turn the podium over to the inaugural Mellor Prize winner, I want to acknowledge a person and a group in the audience. First, huge thanks to IJ's Vice President for Strategic Relations, someone who was also a dear friend of Chip's, who was indispensable in the creation of the Mellor Prize. Someone all of you know so well, the K-Man himself, Kramer. And I am very pleased that we have Chip's wonderful family joining us today. His wife, Allison, his son, Mitch, Mitch's wife, Taj, and his daughter, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us on this really special day. We at IJ will continue to carry forward Chip's legacy in everything we do, and I'm so happy we're able to partner with Tracy and SBN to create the Mellor Prize to recognize how other groups will likewise advance the principles to which Chip devoted his life: freedom, justice, and holding those in power accountable for what they do. So, please join me in welcoming someone who also knew Chip really well, and another great champion for liberty, the president of the new Civil Liberties Alliance, the inaugural Mellor Prize winner, Mark Chenoweth.
On behalf of our founder, Philip Hamburger, and the entire board and staff of the new Civil Liberties Alliance, I would like to extend our deepest thanks to the State Policy Network and the Institute for Justice. It is my honor to accept the inaugural Mellor Prize in recognition of NCLA's successful campaign to end Chevron deference. Although a project this big was certainly an all-hands effort, I do want to especially recognize Philip Hamburger's intellectual leadership in framing the case against Chevron, John Vecchione and Kara Rollins for leading the relentless v. Department of Commerce litigation, and Roman Martinez and his team at Latham & Watkins, who provided able assistance in briefing and arguing this case at the U.S. Supreme Court. Chip Mellor was a wonderful man and a true champion of liberty. His advice and support allowed Jim Ho and I to co-found the IJ Clinic on Entrepreneurship at the University of Chicago Law School back in 1998. When my wife and I moved to DC in 2000, Chip and Allison were the first ones to invite us to dinner and welcome us to town. I co-authored my first Supreme Court amicus brief about a year later in support of IJ's Zellman v. Simmons-Harris school choice case. When Philip Hamburger hired me in 2017 to start up and run the new Civil Liberties Alliance, a public interest law firm entirely devoted to fighting the administrative state, my first call was to Chip Mellor. He gave me ample wise advice about many aspects of running a public interest litigation firm that would not only be successful, but that would share the kind of character that Chip and IJ represented, filled with high standards, a joy for the battle for justice, and always a focus on growing an effective team. In no small part, by following that advice, NCLA has grown to 30-some employees and 3 Supreme Court victories of our own in just 8 years. Point being, thank you. The point being that Chip Mellor's graciousness and devotion to liberty have seeded other groups and led to even more protections for constitutional freedoms than anyone can count. He was the embodiment of the saying that it's amazing how much you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit. That said, I'd like to think Chip would take a special pride in recognizing a group that has so consciously followed in his footsteps. NCLA is so honored to receive the very first Mellor Prize for ending Chevron deference, which we will use to carry on his legendary public interest litigation legacy. Thank you very much.